It was quite a process, a lengthy one. It started in 2016 in Mexico, and we agreed as a movement that we need standards for minimal standards for rehabilitation. Then the EXCOM was tasked to elaborate that. Then the Health Advisory Committee, under the leadership of Aida Alarian, took over the standard, the work of this on the standards. And it was a very interesting process. There were about 10 to 12 people working on it. And in the end, the EXCOM decided to add several paragraphs to it to define the quality of life. And then a second round began of discussions, people agreeing, people disagreeing. It was a very inclusive process with lots of debates and discussions. It was very challenging to have so many people with different cultural backgrounds, so many centers operating in different contexts, come to an agreement about something of what is this standard of care that we as a movement want to deliver. So it was very lively with lots of discussions, lots of agreement, disagreement, and finally, it was slightly unbelievable that we all came to an agreement, and we agreed that these are minimal standards, and we adopted them in 2020 on a virtual GA.
Well, as Leila just talked about, I think all the centers who are independent entities, right, they now have a common language to talk across the centers about different quality markers. And we've already seen it happening. I mean, there's a debate about, what is it when we say onboarding of survivors into the system, what kind of work is being done around the survivor who's not only the only one impacted, right? It's the family and it's the community. So what kind of services are there for those members? It's also a way to debate. Some things are going to be different in different countries, and that's the way it is, right? Service levels are different, terminology is a bit different, but the ethos and the human rights principles that Leila was talking about, they are the foundation from which we will not deviate. And so I think it's going to give us a common language and also a common ambition. I think it's going to be interesting to see, which of the 17 standards different member centers focus on. And that's fair enough. It's their own decision. Some will be more important for some centers than others. Some will be easy for some centers, and then they can actually learn or teach others, right? So here we can see some who are maybe more resource strong being able to contribute and lift the standards of others by doing peer-to-peer exchanges. Maybe there'll be some mentoring that evolves during this process. I'm sure there'll be a lot of problem solving. And last but not least, these standards give members a feeling of solidarity around a common objective. So I think there's going to be an awful lot of options and ways we can tackle this as we organically go through the process of supporting members who determine themselves in which way do we want to improve our work based on learning, problem solving, mess up sometimes. I mean, there'll be problems along the way, but I think you'll still be seeing people observing, there's been a mistake made. How can we correct that? How can we improve so next time we don't do the same thing? So I think there's a huge arena that's been opened, but with some common terminology. And because it's been, unanimously approved by the GA after 4 years of really solid work, I think it's really anchored in our organization. So we'll see, as Leila said, we're just kicking this off. Let's see how it evolves, but we're willing to, adjust as we go along and hear what members say, listen to them, and be able to provide the support needed. So centers who are in the front line helping torture survivors can do the best job possible.
We have a very diverse membership, and we're a very diverse unity of organizations and people. So this allows us to have a common understanding and a common agreement of what is the standards, what is the minimal standards which we offer to people that we are there to serve. And if you read through the standards, it is all based on acknowledging the needs of torture survivors, acknowledging the suffering they went through, and tailoring the intervention in a manner that is respectful is full of dignity and accompanies the survivor throughout the process. And most importantly, it implies full engagement of the survivor into the process and gives the survivor a torture agency over the process.
I mean, I feel fantastic and proud that we as an organization of 161 members across the globe, 76 countries, have been able to come to agreement on a set of professional standards. It's been an amazing process, and it allows us to have some kind of minimum standard across the centers throughout the world. And it's something that members have agreed upon. They've worked on the terminology, and it really shows, I think, the depth of the knowledge, the depth of the participation of the members, and the psychologists, psychiatric care experts, mental health experts that have been involved in this process to actually bring us to a place where we say, this is what we're going to be working toward. Each and every one of the member centers is going to be working to motivate their staff to be able to improve their services. And to be able to do this across the globe, knowing how difficult that can be, is a great source of pride for us as an organization, and will guide us as we work to reaching our strategic objectives from now until 2025.